What is Section 230? What is Section 230? And before I get to that, if you haven't already, like and subscribe to the channel. I would very much appreciate it. This has a lot to do with the free internet, so this is definitely one thing that you're going to want to pay attention to. Now, if there's one thing that we should all be able to agree on, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, it's that 2020 has sucked. But for some companies, it's actually been pretty awesome. Now, take good old Facebook. Now, since the shutdowns in March, Facebook stock is actually up by more than 100 points. 100 points. So, yeah, if you had Facebook stock, you're looking pretty good right now. But if 2020 was good for Mark Zuckerberg, 2021 is not looking so good going into the future.
The U.S. government and more than 40 states are suing Facebook. They're accusing the social media company of using illegal tactics to squash competition and eliminate rivals.
And if there's one other thing that Republicans and Democrats agree on, besides how bad 2020 has been, it's that something has to be done about Section 230. Section 230. Now, what is Section 230? Well, let me pull it up for you. Or I'll just skip that. So Section 230 was part of the Communications Decency Act of 1996 and was referred to as the most important law in tech. Now, Section 230 generally provides immunity for websites and publishers from third-party content. If you don't want to get that technical, basically what Section 30 states is that no provider or user of any interactive computer service shall be treated as the publisher or speaker of any information provided by another information content provider. So what does that actually mean? Well, it means that I, Citizen Pete, can say whatever the hell I want to say. And you could sue me, but you can't sue YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or wherever you're watching this, right? You can't actually sue those social media companies. So people, could post all kinds of, fake news or content or, misleading stuff and, anything they want online, and it's not the website's problem. But that could all be changing very soon.
It is a tiny law that's had a huge impact on the internet as we know it. Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle want to change the way the law works, affecting how content is moderated online.
So if Section 230 is changed in a significant way, it could have some serious impacts on Facebook and YouTube, and they are taking it very, very seriously. In fact, YouTube has come out and said they will delete any videos alleging widespread voter fraud in the 2020 election. Now, that being said, Todd and Carolee, be very, very careful what you say here because I don't want to get the stream shut down. But what do you guys think of Section 230 and how this could change the internet?
So we go back to the origins of it. In 1996, to come up with this saying, let us police ourselves. We'll take care of it. That's well before Facebook, Twitter, any of that. Tech companies say, let us police ourselves. We'll take care of it. You don't need to worry about it. Flash forward, now you have Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Google using it as a bulletproof shield saying, we're immune from everything all the time, no matter what, you can't hurt us. And so the fact of the matter is, though, that we've already seen things like, Facebook aggressively goes after nudity. And so people say, well, why can't you go aggressively against hate speech? We've seen stuff like the censorship on Twitter, that has the president all riled up, which is bizarre that Republicans are leading this effort, seeing so much more of the fake news on Twitter and Facebook, is aimed at conservative voters. That's where the money is to be made, is churning up that fake news for the conservative side of things.
Absolutely. And I
think that them being the ones to take this shot is bizarre.
Well, I think you've actually nailed it right there, Kelly, because, if anything, the fake news stuff has really benefited Republicans, but both sides of I mean, they're, politicians, they're representing their constituencies, and their constituencies are so angry about, being silenced or the censorship, and so that's really why they're acting now. With all the nudity and all that kind of stuff before, it's one of those things where I think everyone on board was like, hey, we don't want to see any of that kind of stuff online. You want to go to other websites to kind of find that stuff specifically. But on Facebook, let's keep that stuff out. And that kept the general population happy. But now with all the fake news and all the fake content out there, both Democrats and Republicans are pissed about what's going on. And I think that's kind of what's gotten us to where we're at now.
Yeah, and I think with Facebook, they went after it really aggressively. They drew a lot of fire from breastfeeding groups, new moms, that kind of stuff. Things that wouldn't fall under the reasonable person's definition of nudity. And so I think it was a big question for a long time why they couldn't pursue that kind of similar thing with hate speech, with fake news. So it's bizarre to see Republicans taking this line on it. An actual repeal of Section 230, I think, would kill Facebook or Twitter, because it would force them to hire so many more employees. They would have to change their entire business model. Even right now, I don't know if you guys have heard this story, but there's a big expose on the amount of child porn, non-consensual sex, all that kind of videos like that are on Pornhub and sites like those. So they went ahead and pulled all of their non-verified content, which is what you could see on Facebook or Twitter. If you're going to pull all your non-verified content, that's the whole thing. That's the service. That's the whole ball game right there. You can't just pull the videos. I mean, what's Twitter going to be? 20 people? I mean,
yeah, exactly. Which reminds me, if you haven't subscribed or follow me, make sure you do, so I can get verified before all you other people get kicked off and stuff. But yeah, Todd, I mean, you can see this having some big changes. I mean, because it kind of makes you worry about anything that you could post, because is that going to get taken down or?
Well, it's always been the big question about the internet. Should it be this free, lawless place? And that's what a lot of people love about it, is you could do anything on the internet. And to ask a big site like Facebook to start cutting down, start moderating, start limiting what people can do on their site, it certainly begs the question on freedom of speech, but it also, there's a morality to it, to where you have to, make decisions on stuff that is hurting people and eventually hurts people in real life. Some people die from things that get stirred up on social media, and at the end of the day, though, they're companies. We're talking about companies, a business with a business model, which they want as many transactions on their website as possible to make money, and that's all they want to make is money.
Exactly, and I think a lot of people. Okay.
Every click it's more money for them, and so they see this as a loss in the revenue, and that's pretty much it.
Exactly, and I think one of the reasons too why they haven't gone after hate speech so much in the past is that there's so much money in it, I mean, there's so much money that they're getting from, whether it be political ads or people just engaging folks with the content. And honestly, for a lot of folks who are just trying to sell ads or sell services out there, if you're getting that data from people, then they're not really caring very much, where it's coming from. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens with Section 230. Repealing it could have some massive implications for the internet going forward. But leave me a comment, let me know what you think, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll stay on it for you. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for watching Citizen Pete. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, click that little subscribe button, maybe the like button, and hey, maybe just leave a comment. I want to know what you're thinking. What do you think about all the politics and news and all the stuff that's going on in our country?